Let's talk about multiplying and dividing decimals for a minute. When you are multiplying decimals, the number with the most digits goes on top. So when I'm lining them up vertically stacked, this number has 4 digits, this number only has 2, so the number with 4 digits is going to go on top. The decimals do not have to line up. Okay, and that's something that students always get wrong. They always think they have to line up the decimals. That's addition and subtraction. Multiplication, you don't. You line them up all the way to the right. So 4.5 goes there. Then you just multiply like normal. 1 times 5 is 5, 6 times 5 is 30, carry your 3. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3 is 28. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Now put your placeholder to take that 5. 1 times 4 is 4, 6 times 4 is 24, carry your 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. And 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Then you add these rows together. And then the next step is count how many places after the decimal are in the first number, or how many digits if you prefer. You could say count how many digits are after the decimal in the first number. So 1, 2, 3. Count how many digits are after the decimal in the first, that should say the second number. There's a typo right there. This should say second number. So 1. So I've got 3 places and 1 place. This is how many digits need to follow the decimal in the product. Remember, the product is the answer to a multiplication sentence. So if I had 1, 2, 3, 4 places after decimals, I have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 places after my decimal in my product. And so that answer to that first example would be 11.5245. Okay? Let's try the next one together. I have 2 digits here and 3 digits here. So the 1.65 is going to go on top. Line up all the way to the right. Multiply like normal. Then add. Count your decimals. We've got 2 here and none on the bottom. So 1, 2, decimal place. 19.8. Remember, when you have zeros that don't have anything after them and they're on the right side of the decimal, you don't have to write them at all. So 19.80 is the same thing as 19.8. Okay, let's look at dividing. I'm going to erase this top part here just so that we don't get confused. You should already have it written down. Remember, anytime I'm going too fast, all you have to do is pause the video, catch up, then press play. You can also rewind. What you can't do is fast forward. So when dividing, the divisor cannot have a decimal. Absolutely cannot have a decimal. So if you have one like this, we have to get rid of it. So we're going to move the decimal so it becomes a whole number. So that, in this case, I only need to move it one place to make that a whole number. Then you have to move the same amount of places for the dividend. So if I moved one place on the outside, I have to move one place on the inside. Okay, then I'm going to place a decimal straight up into the quotient. So this decimal goes straight up to the quotient, and then divide like normal. So what I have now, instead of 0.2 divided into 2.48, this actually ends up being 2 divided into 24.8. So 2 can go into 2 once. Bring down your 4. 2 can go into 4 twice. And 2 can go into 8 4 times. So whether it was the decimal number or whether it was the whole number version, 12.4 would still be your answer. And you can check that by doing 12.4 times 0.2. and you'll get 2.48, or 12.4 times 2, you'll get 24.8. Either way, the 12.4 is the answer. So now on the second one, I'm going to scoot down here at the bottom where I have more room. The first number, when it's written like this in that horizontal division sentence, the way that we would read this was 8.75 divided by 7. So if it's being divided by something, that's your divisor. So that goes on the outside, and the 8.75 goes on the inside. I don't have any decimals in that 7, so I don't have to do anything different. Bring your decimal straight up. 7 can go into 8 one time. 7 can go into 17 two times. And 7 can go into 35 5 times. This is what I mean when I say show your work. I want to see your division. I want to see your whole process, because if you get something wrong, I go back and figure out where did you go wrong if your work is shown, and I can give you partial credit for that. But if there's no work shown, number one, it tells me that you might be cheating or using a calculator, and number two, I can't give you any partial credit. So make sure go through these problems. I gave you lots of space to show your work, but if it's not quite enough space, feel free to grab a sheet of notebook paper. Just make sure you take a picture of the notebook paper with this when you're submitting it.